Well, yeah, you're right. How many people in history can you name, like, on one hand, probably, that were, like, achieved some level of greatness in whatever field that might be, that didn't have that dark side along with it? I mean...
Who else is it? Can you think of anybody?
No.
All right, welcome to Share Show. I'm Jeff.
Alex.
It's really loud. Let's turn it down. And yeah, the show where, if I can find this is the show where we want to hear what you guys are thinking. We're going to share our kind of points of view and feelings on things. And for those of you that have kind of tuned in and kind of hung out with us for a bit, even though we're just getting started, we appreciate you. And we want to hear comments. If you want to get on the show and talk with us, that's great. Or have topics you want us to talk forever about, we're happy to do it.
We can do that too.
Yeah, we can do it. All right, brand new episode 2.
Woohoo!
We're great. How are you doing this week?
Pretty good. It's been a long week, but good resolutions to things, I feel like. So ultimately positive rolling into the weekend.
Nice, man. What kind of resolutions? What do you mean?
Work stuff mostly.
I hear that.
Life events, but all good.
All good.
Yeah.
Nice, man. It's been another rough one, dude. As you know, like it's been like a sad week, and honestly, I don't even know if I can be present today, but I'm gonna try my best.
I get it.
But as you know, my father-in-law passed, and it's been a lot of dealing with that, and it's a trip, man. It's hard to get your head around what we're all doing, I guess, or what all this nonsense is.
Understood. Well, I think that was interesting when, so to give everyone else a little background, you know, of course, a couple years ago, I was in a rough place and took a while to get out of that. But you were there, you and your family for sure. It was a huge source of support that whole time. But you know, going through it, it's hard to see outside of it, right? So it's like, oh, you're doing great, or you're gonna be fine, and it's like, whatever, right? That's not going to be the case.
Yeah.
And then what? And then it turned the corner, and then it kind of like almost immediately flipped from me to you, and then we had so many conversations about like that. Just, you know, everyone's kind of been, not necessarily specifically there, but like been to a rough point, right? But every time you're in it, you can't see out of it. You can't be like, oh, this will be fine eventually, right? But it will. But so hard and pretty much impossible to like be in it and think positively, optimistically.
Man. It's so true. Like, I can't remember if we talked about this, and stop me if we did, but I always think about Kramer on Seinfeld. Did we talk about that on the show?
No.
So like, there's an episode. I mean, he's got his own thing, right? Like his whole thing that he did getting canceled and everything. But before that all happened, he got interviewed about Seinfeld. And I think it was Jerry and him. It might have been on Comedians on Cars Getting Coffee. And Jerry was like talking to him about the thing. And Kramer was like, yeah, man, I wish I could have like enjoyed it more.
Yeah.
You know, and because it's the same thing. It's like, if you can do it and in your back of your head, you're like, I know this is going to be fine. Or this shitty time is only going to last for like 2 months. It's like, no problem, man. Hunker down. Like, this is fine. But like you're saying, when you're in it, it's just like where my head is right now. It's like, it looks like an endless tunnel. It looks like there's I have no idea. But if I knew, if it was like, oh, it was only like 3 more months, even just knowing that, it'd be like, okay, well,
of course,
right?
Yeah. Knowing the end story, that story at least.
Yeah, like, because you know it's going to be better. It's going to end at some point, but it's the unknown of it that makes it impossible. And it feels like where I'm trying to get to is this mindset of like, accept it that it's going to end well. How do I say this? Accept it before it had, like, in the middle of this unknown, just being like, this is all going to be great. And this is like, and to just believe that almost like a lie.
Yeah.
You know, like that it's like, no, okay.
Well, you've been there. I mean, you're good at that, like to have those spurts of like, okay, here's how I'm thinking about it now. But it's just impossible to keep that like pace up, right?
Dude.
Because eventually, if something else happens or anything else falters, it's like, oh my god, something else now?
Right.
Like you just said with your father-in-law, like it just when it rains it pours, right?
Right.
And
take the hits.
Yeah.
Brutal, man.
But you're right. Even in like the Kramer story, it's like that was a good time for them. But even then,
right,
you can't accept that it's good and see outside of it for what it is going to be eventually. I mean, no one knows. I mean, everyone could get fired tomorrow,
right,
or lose their business or whatever. Right? No one knows.
Totally. No, but no, that's a great point, dude. That's exactly it. Because it's like, okay, it's one thing when everything is bad, when things are like not going well. But that's a scenario where things are going well, and you still feel that way, like that it's like that you can't. It's like you're running this business and it's kind of going good, but like it could not. You could ruin it, and there's still that feeling of like, man, I gotta really push myself.
Focus there, right in the back.
Yeah, and if you just knew that it's like, no, this is all gonna work out. Your thing is gonna be great. Then you could take a breath and be like, actually enjoy it for a second. But I feel like so much is like that. I mean, like. Being a parent is kind of like that. Like there's elements of that in everything of like, you really got to focus and be like, just take a second. You're fine. Everything is fine. You're doing fine. Because mentally it always feels like, like, am I doing this right? Or whatever all those things are. There's so many forces against you. It's crazy mentally.
Well, I think that like that being in the present being present is the biggest medicine against that. It feels like to me, like with being a parent or in rough times or good, like to be present, like this is amazing, I'm on the greatest show of all time,
right? You
know, and I can recognize that while I'm on it, not like many years later when people are like, oh my god,
that was great,
that was you,
right?
But yeah, like that's been a big huge for me, like milestone in parenting was just like, I don't care what you're gonna be like at 7 years old, like 6, and I'm not gonna be like, oh, I can't wait till she's 7 or 8, or this is really rough. It's like I'm trying to enjoy the things that are there. That I'm gonna. Then you look at 7 or 8, and you're like, oh, I miss when she was 6, even though you're like looking ahead at that time.
Totally.
And looking back, it's like just be happy with what you got,
dude,
and don't worry about the future to some reasonable extent, of course. But
so true, man. We're addicted to fantasy. And I think social is just like plays into that too. It's just where it's just like it's all right. So it's like take away social and the fantasy is the future and the past. You're always just like, oh, I wish it was this. I can't wait till this. I'm gonna get this.
I wish I was that again, or had that house or that car or whatever, right?
Totally.
From your past, where it's like, why? Why would you even bother thinking about that? And again, I'm not innocent of this.
No, we all do.
I mean,
right?
I do all, yeah, absolutely. But it's pointless. It's worthless, right? To think about that or worry about the future, that's also pointless.
Right.
You have almost no control in some cases.
Dude.
As long as you're in the present, doing well in the present, the future should be okay.
Right. Well, dude, like, so along those, that's a perfect segue to one of the things I was thinking we could talk, that I got into this week, which is the Spike Jonze film, Her. Have you ever seen that?
I haven't.
Oh, you haven't? Okay,
no.
So it's even better, kind of.
Okay, good.
It's an old flick, and
I remember. Yeah.
Okay, so Joaquin Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Amy. Like a robot situation or
no?
AI? No. Okay.
AI. Yeah. Okay. So basically, Joaquin, and it's like when it came out, it was like sci-fi and cool and interesting, and now it was like, wow, is that prophetic? It's like it is happening right now, and the premise, just really quickly, that I will fumble, but I'll do my best, is that. So Joaquin is this dude. I think he just got divorced. He's really like, he works at this company where they make basically like handwritten cards, but people pay them to make these cards and then send them to their loved ones. So it feels like it's personal, but it's super impersonal, which is like the perfect like analogy. Yeah. And so anyway, the technology exists where it's like the new operating system and it's very like whatever, AI and everything. And it's Scarlett Johansson, and that's great. So anyway, the premise is like he falls in love with this AI. He forms this relationship and falls in love with this AI to the point that he like goes on a date and takes her with him, and like it's like this legitimate like replacement for people. Like, of course, because she's plugging in like exactly what he wants, like sexually exactly what he wants, or conversationally, or like how she's talking to him, because she's soaked up all the data of everything he's ever, right? Okay. And it's like, and now you look and it's like those things exist. And not to get in a big AI conversation today necessarily, but it just came up where it was like, how once it's possible to have a relationship with the perfect partner that has no needs of their own, and there's no conflict, and everything is just like bending to your needs, who will ever make the choice to be with a human being that like isn't always exactly what you want, and their needs are going to conflict with yours, and it's going to be problematic? It's like, oh, do you want the thing that's like easy and simple and perfect all the time, or whatever, for you, perfect or whatever, and all pleasure and no like downside? Or do you want to like really like get into get into it with a real human being and the struggles of who you are and who they are, and how it's like a no-brainer. It's not even possible. It's such a like, it's going to be so addictive, obviously, that it's like, who would make that choice? It's really like, and so basically the video that I was watching about it that like really was talking about it was how it's inevitable that will explode. It's already happening. Like the number of babies being created every year is like less and less. And then that's going to explode and make it even more like rare, that we're going to like the crisis of conscious of like, what are we doing? I don't know if that's the right phrase, but like, what, you know what I mean? Like everyone wants it, but like, it's like, okay, you've created heroin. Everybody loves it. It feels great. But like, it's really like, it's questionable, man. Right.
Well, yeah, I think I definitely know of and heard of others relationships where it's like, okay, if one of those people was left to their own devices, it would have been terrible. Like the other person pushed them to do all of the things probably that were enjoyable to the other person in their whole life, right? But if they would have done nothing, but had this, AI creature doing all the things for them, and then that's the end of civilization. That would absolutely be the end of civilization.
It could.
Yeah. Well, it would be like they'll be having kids.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking to this fake creature thing that they've created.
That's perfect.
Why even leave the house, right? Like that would eventually be probably the reality of the situation.
Right. Well, but what I mean is like, how sad that if for sure it's possible, and almost likely in a lot of ways, because it's like, but then how sad that it's like, oh, how did like people end? Was it the bomb? Was it like aliens? Was it the asteroids? Yeah. No, they created an app, like this technology, and then they just all like got sucked into it, and then it just it destroyed everybody. Mm-hmm. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think there's anything more interesting than the human relationship. It's so fascinating to me, whether that be romantic, friendship, parental, parent, whatever it is.
Totally.
It's so interesting, and I love talking to people about their like not necessarily problems, but just relationships in general. Right? If I could do it all again, I'd probably be a psychologist.
Yeah.
And I love that. That's partially
why we like
that. Yeah. We get along so well. We like doing these kinds of things.
Yeah.
But like, it's so interesting how that relationship, whatever one it is, can affect your life so much. Like, there's nothing more powerful, to me at least, when I'm with someone, to be like, that's it. I hold it to so high esteem.
Right.
Like everything else, like kind of like suffers, quite honestly.
Right.
I'm thinking I'm changing that in very healthy ways, but like that's again dependent on who you're with.
Right.
Or who you bend for them, or them to you, or whatever it is. Like that's the compromise of being in a relationship. But if you didn't have to do that, I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to go to like the AI side of things. I know what that would result in for me. I'm like, I need someone else to balance me out, or to give me another side of things. Like, I don't want my own side all the time, or somebody saying yes all the time. It's terrible. It sounds like my nightmare.
Right. Well, right. So what that was making me think of was like how there's that truth, right, where it's like the way to grow a muscle we've talked about this before, but it's like you don't get muscle growth without going to the gym and putting in the
Yeah.
work, like you,
Yeah.
or and ripping muscle. Like there's got to be destruction in order, like difficulty and destruction in order to get the growth, or really anything, right? Like, and so, but given the opportunity to like everybody sit on your ass and drink milkshakes and not have to do anything for like everybody, the vast majority of people will.
Yeah, like your partner then doesn't care what you look like. They don't know. They're not a living creature, right? They don't care if you're fat or you're over, well, whatever, right? Like your job went away or this or the other. They'd be like,
nothing matters. It doesn't make a difference, right? There's no pushback.
That's what I mean. Like it would take away all motivation for anything.
Right.
Why would you want to do anything to better yourself then?
Right.
Which is like why I like the human relationship. It's like friends that push you or give you a different perspective to like incorporate into your life, or romantically to be like you want to better yourself for someone. Yeah, I mean that's all how we continue to evolve. Right? Without it, there'd be nothing.
There's no growth, right?
Yeah.
You need to be challenged. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Well, like we're just talking about like the challenges of life and always leading to a good, better place. That's where it's at. Like that grind, that struggle is where everything interesting comes from.
Right.
I think.
Dude, I agree, man. All right. Well, that could be a perfect segue to the main topic of the day. I didn't know what that was gonna be.
I like it.
All right, so main topic of the day. So here is what I want to talk about today, which is not what you might expect. It's
and I can't stress enough
we haven't
how little we. I mean, I literally walked in here and came up here and sat down. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't even know what he's about to say.
Right. We weren't even going to do it this week. Yeah. Okay. So topic for this week is. You know what? I'm not even going to tell you. This is going to be a little bit of a surprise. I'm going to play a video, and I'll say this. I'm so demotivated. Is it unmotivated? I'm so unmotivated right now in a kind of a depressed place. But this dude coming out of the woodwork from the past has like juiced me. I'm so excited about thinking about this guy and what his role in all of our pasts were, and what a superhero he is, and underrated. And it's Alf. Yeah. So I'm gonna play a clip of this dude, and this is a clip of him. The last thing he recorded before, and he no longer is alive, right? So this is the last thing he recorded, and I was like, it like really blows me away. So I'm gonna play it for you. I'm gonna move that. All right.
I'm just so proud of all of you who have grown up with us. And I know how tough it is some days to look with hope and confidence on the months and years ahead. But I would like to tell you what I often told you when you were much younger. I like you just the way you are. And what's more, I'm so grateful to you for helping the children in your life to know that you'll do everything you can to keep them safe and to help them express their feelings in ways that will bring healing in many different neighborhoods. It's such a good feeling to know that we're lifelong friends.
Oh my God. All right. Mr. Rogers. So many things I want to talk about.
Okay.
But which is, I know, it's like...
No, I love it. Yeah.
Okay, so... Where to even start? Because there's so many. So let's start here. I was thinking about how, especially last week, we talked about that Bill Cosby podcast. Mm-hmm. Documentary.
Right.
And the first thing that came to my mind with him, with Mr. Rogers, was how unlikely it is, like how unusual it is that he was like such a force for good for so many people, like a massive, like
generations, yeah.
insane. And there wasn't the dark side that was like lurking in the shadows that you would expect to find to balance that whole thing out. Like, okay, yeah, we at the very end we find he like
bodies in his basement or something.
Yeah, right. Which, and they, on some level, they tried to do. I was reading that people were saying that he was like a Navy SEAL and he killed a bunch of people. That was like a theory that, and like, and even
I know where that came from. Yeah.
But like his 60-year-old kids are like, dude, he wasn't a Navy SEAL. He didn't murder anybody. It's like, all right, thanks. But whatever. But like that alone, that he's like, of the people that we know, like you go back in history and you can look and, you know, Michael Jordan, I think, is another one where it's like, nobody's a perfect human being, but like he actually was a champion of greatness, and he remains like, am I missing something?
What was that for sure?
With what? What did he do?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard stories. I mean, I'm not a fan at all, other than, yeah, I totally agree he's the best basketball player that's ever lived, talent-wise and career-wise and all of that, but
okay.
No, I think had social media existed, he would have been destroyed.
Based on, but was it gambling or was there something? What do I know now?
I think, I mean, take your pick. I mean, womanizing, gambling, you know, being a dick to, you know, waiters, restaurateurs,
really?
hotel owners, that they were like lucky to have him there, and stiffing bills of $20,000 plus. I mean, that's everywhere. I mean, that's all factual.
Okay.
But then, just like, I don't know, just felt like this day and age, like LeBron's a better case for me, considering he was 18, signed an $80 million shoe deal the first day he after graduating high school, and then hasn't once, that I know of at all, stepped in anything.
Right.
And now he's been playing in the NBA for 20 plus years.
Right.
How's that possible?
Right. Okay, so better example.
Yeah.
I hear
well,
you.
and yeah, just personally.
No, dude, I'm glad you said it, because I don't know.
There's a lot of similarities on it between LeBron and Mr. Rogers. Quite frankly, yeah, some huge similarities. That you're right. Like most people stumble, and get sucked into this or that because of the fame or their ego or whatever it might be.
Right. It's like the rarity of greatness is like insane, that you would be great at anything, and then the next level is like you actually rise to a level that anybody cares about your greatness of the thing. You get the luck and all those pieces of the puzzle, and then the final trapdoor is like you also don't succumb to like all, like you said, the trappings of like the power.
Yeah.
And then who bubbles up to that, which is like, that's the real superhero status of like, wow, you not only had it, but you then like rejected the dark side.
Well, you're right. How many people in history can you name, like on one hand probably, that were like achieved some level of greatness in whatever field that might be, that didn't have that dark side along with it? I mean,
who else is it? Can you think of anybody?
No.
Anybody watching this, if you have any idea of someone, because I really tried to think of other people, and I had the same problem where I'm like, I can't. I mean, there's like people not at that level of like the LeBron, Michael Jordan, Mr. Rogers, like a fame that I'm sure like fit that mold, but like the people that we, like
elite,
the super high level that like.
Because usually you have to do some shit to get there, right? That will, like, people will, if you were to run for office or be in the public eye or whatever, somebody's gonna like knock you down. It's like, oh, when he was 18 or 20 or whatever, he did this, and then they get pulled down to the muck. But yeah, there's not many. I mean, Obama, maybe? I don't know. There's probably something. I mean, that's political, I guess, but...
It's political, but so there's a question mark there. But, like, he's the perfect type of dude where it's, like, I feel like it's another piece of it. It's, like, you can't judge it until the very end, because when, like, all the possible sides of the puzzle come out, because it's, like, I don't who knows? Yeah. And listen, we won't get into politics and personal feelings, but it's, like, it just feels like there's a long runway of like, you don't know what you're looking at until the person in power gets to that point where like they don't have any power anymore, when all of a sudden it's like, okay, what really happened here? Like, what were we really looking at? But anyway, okay.
Well, yeah, and I think like that greatness is such an interesting topic for me too, because in this, especially in America these days, it's like, who's great, and then no one cares about anything else. No one cares about aside from like the top 3 NBA players or the Kobe, Jordan, LeBron discussion, it's like who cares? I mean, again, that's pointless, right? It's endless. It'd never be solved. But then there's all these other people that are amazing at what they do, but no one cares at all about them at all. But they're making hundreds of millions of dollars, and I mean, ultimately, no one cares. Aside from that very, very top echelon that gets all the press, everything they do is like broadcast out there.
Right.
But then you got all these other people that are doing good things, just not to that level, that are just, I feel like just will be completely forgotten.
Right. Well, so I'll tie that into like what I've been thinking about this week about like you're talking, like just being in the darkness of things is like the only real truth, and it ties into what you're just saying, but like the only real truth is, like we said, staying out of the fantasy. So like really focusing on just being like, hey, we have food, we have shelter, like I'm not thirsty, like it's not super hot, I have a place to sleep, like there's nothing to complain about. Right now, everything is totally fine, and staying out of the fantasy. But then secondarily, and we talked about this before, like not getting caught in the trappings of like what the thing that you make and the thing that you do, all that matters is what the effect of that thing is. Like getting caught in the idea that it's like, and I think that type of stuff is, our brains are so sucked into like create this North Star that everybody's aiming towards because it pulls everybody towards it, but it ruins it because nobody's going to get there. And the real value is just doing it. So it's like, if you're focused on the end result, I mean, and everybody's talked about this, like Jim Carrey talked about, actors, Brad Pitt talks about, it's like, there's no joy in the thing, in getting that thing. You get there and then you become super depressed because you realize it's all fantasy. But like the only joy is sitting here with you and being able to talk and make this thing or whatever, regardless of that, you know.
Well, that's what I mean about the present side of the thing, right? And then we talked about that before. Like the pursuit is really where everyone's heart and desire lies.
Right.
Like the pursuit of a new job or a new relationship or a new car or house or whatever it might be. But you get that thing and then pretty soon you're wanting something else. Right. It's almost immediately your desire is gone for whatever that thing was, but someone always wants like the chase of it, but then they get bored when they catch whatever that thing is, no matter what it is.
Right.
And then it keeps on pushing up, like, oh, I got a promotion, so I need a new car and a bigger house. I was like, no, why?
Right.
Don't. But like almost everyone goes that route.
Dude, right? You know what it feels like? It feels like the stock engine on a car. Like we're all installed with this stock engine, and it's a driver to be like, you know what I mean? To be like, okay, we know this is going to get everybody moving. But if you don't like eventually replace that engine, it buries you. Because you'll realize that it's all fiction, like, and the driver needs to be completely altered. But like, how difficult that is to be like, no, you got to pull that out, and like that's not where it is. Like, and the actual value is the other thing that you weren't even looking at, that was invisible. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I've struggled with this at work recently, and then kind of applying that to, just everyday life too. But like that, there's people that have just been around a long time that have this power and may have worked their way up to it, but are operating in a world that doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Or even like LeBron James, let's take for example, he's still holding a ton of money, a ton of power, a ton of weight, when it's just stop. Like, you could just stop playing basketball and it would be, you'd be obviously more than fine.
Right.
But like, then it's like holding other people down that can rise to that, but people that have been here longer are like, no, he's still the best, or he's still doing this thing. It's like Bob Dylan touring, or just stop. Mm-hmm. Like, and LeBron's operating at a high level still, of course, but like other people that it's just like, okay, you're taking away tour dates and publicists and all these people that can put their stock into like someone that young and exciting and new and interesting, and that's gonna like change things a little bit, but people are fearful of that, or this power still weighs, it's so heavy because they're so iconic. It's like, just, why are you doing this?
I don't know that I agree. I'll say this, because I think if there's any indication that the only real joy is the making and doing the thing,
Sure.
that is it.
Sure.
Because to your point, if it was about the money and the power, they both are done.
That's true.
So they're realizing like, oh, I have like 50, 100, 200 million bucks in the bank. It's not enough. I need to keep going out. So it's like,
because it's not about the money.
It's not right. And they know it. And what I agree with you on is like, it's almost the same thing as that transitioning engine. It's like they need to change their focus once you get there clearly to like, okay, yeah, now I see that it's all about doing it and I still want to do it. But to your point, it's like I need to like leverage that power and find even more joy by rising up, using my power to rise up the unknowns. Right. So it's like if I don't think it's a zero-sum game. I think that it's like if the musician goes out there that's old and plays a show, there's plenty of people to do stuff like that seems fine to me. But to be able to be like, okay, the dude that's starting the show is some totally unknown, like, 20-year-old, and I think he's awesome. Like Bob Dylan saying that. Yeah. Or like, absolutely. Or like recording him or like whatever. It's got, I have no idea, but I got to think that it's like, if there's a next level of joy above the doing, it has to be having reached a level of power where you can use that to elevate other people.
Absolutely, totally. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing when that happens. But I feel like to get to those levels, a lot of it's ego, and so a lot of times it's like I don't want anybody else to have the spotlight that I've worked so hard all these decades to cultivate. Right.
Totally.
So I'm not.
Which is perfect because that means it's like the forces once again the thing that you're supposed to. That is the focus. All the forces are pushing against you, being like, be fearful of this guy. Don't let him like take your spotlight, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, once again, that's the dragon guarding the like, what you really should want, which is helping. It's not taking anything away from you. If anything, it's going to fill you up, but it doesn't, you have to get past that, like, which again is the same thing as like, the doing is the joy and not like the getting there. And like there's so much, oh man, it's crazy.
It's like you see what is achievable and you want to go. Most people, a lot of people want to go achieve that thing, but it might not be in your future, or capabilities or whatever. And some people just keep pushing and pushing and pushing on a wall where they'll never go down.
Totally. Wait, so let me tie this back to Mr. Rogers because that's a perfect segue, if I can, unless you have something else. Okay. Yeah. So the second thing I was thinking about this dude is like, listen to him, right? He like very slow talking, very earnest and honest and loving and like, it's really like insane. It's like crazy. Yeah. And I was thinking about the fact that it's like, there's no one alive probably. No, I'll say it like this. He combined interest, like personal interest and love of kids, with an authentic vibration of skill that could actually communicate that in a way that was very, very authentic. And the rarity of those two things coming together. So what I mean is like, there's millions of people that love kids. And if they studied how Mr. Rogers talked and like what he did, it would never work. Oh, no. So it's like this combination of this impossibility of not only genuine liking the idea, but also the perfect everything, the ability to be that human, his exact human being, to be able to do it in a way that comes off genuine, and you would smell it in a second if someone was just trying to do it, but they weren't him.
Well, I'm guessing he had he didn't base this off of someone else. There wasn't, maybe there's some influence in his life, but like as far as like everyone would know, I feel like this is very genuine and specific to him. Right. Right, because otherwise you're just trying to fit into a box. Like, it can be somebody like, I want to be Mr. Rogers. No, like, right. That's not possible. Right, right. But I feel like some people are that way. Like, they need something to look at and be like, that's what I want to be. And then there needs to be more like, I'm just going to be myself and do my thing and put my spin on this thing that's already here or whatever it is. But it's tough when, some people have that ability, an avenue to be out there and display it, right? Some people don't. Like you have I thought this about myself for a long time. Like I feel like my brain works in a certain way that as I've gotten older, I've recognized as more of a good thing than I previously thought was a bad thing. But like, I feel like I'm the kind of person that has that like creativity in me, but have no outlet for it.
Right.
Right. Like I don't write, I don't sing, I don't play music, I don't, all the classic like ways to get it out.
Yep.
Right. So that struggle with that, I'm like, okay, I feel it.
Yeah.
But how do I like get this out into the world? Right.
Yeah, totally. Well, it makes that exactly, and that makes me think it's like it's so hard to know even what you genuinely like and who you exactly are, and then to your point, also to find the thing that's the right outlet to like communicate it or make it manifest in the world. And
yeah, exactly.
right, so and it makes me think that it's like it's possible that if every single person really did the work of like, what is it that I like personally really, really like, and who am I at the very core? What is that vibration? And then really did the work of like all the possible things that are out there that are available of ways to manifest it. That if everybody did it, like that's the utopia. Like everybody would be the Mr. Rogers if they could, but it's so hard to do. Even when you do the work, spend years of like, what is it that I like? What do I
know?
Whew.
Yeah, and it could be you just it hasn't crossed your path, you haven't tried it, or you want to do this thing really bad, but you're just not gonna get to that level of like doing it for a living, let's say, or whatever. I think a lot of people struggle with that, like the hobby versus professional thing, and it's like, okay, it's okay that you're not gonna be this like elite whatever it is guitar player, for example, and like the greatness thing with like the idea of like Bob Dylan, for example, just because he's top of mind, like that he could write songs like that and sing them that way and had the ambition to do it and can perform on stage, like all of those things that come together. Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's why it doesn't happen often, right? Like you were saying, that's a once in a lifetime generation talent that all those things have to line up. That doesn't happen.
Crazy.
Hardly ever, right?
Right. I mean, it's almost. I think it's like not enough focus is put on those two tumblers of like passion, which everyone talks about that, but then genuinely, it is who you are. You can make the argument that that you become who you are based on your passion. I don't know that that's necessarily true. I think you can I think you can. Well, sorry. I think you can get better at like skills of things for sure. But I do think that it's like there is a truth that only you know that like whispers in your ear when you're like, oh man, I'm being real. This is like, it makes me think of like Eddie Van Halen on guitar. I'm gonna throw this out there because it feels like it's a perfect fit, but I might get some of the details wrong. But I know that when Eddie first started playing guitar, I think he was playing drums and his brother was playing bass or something like this. It wasn't that Eddie was on guitar. And then eventually he just picked one up and it was like so natural to him. Like so like
that's wild.
You know what I mean? And so it was like, I do think that there's a difference between, and there's nothing wrong with it. You can follow just the passion. That's great too. Like, okay, fine. I just want to like do my things. But the real work is to be like, okay, I'm passionate about this, that's great, but then who am I, and then how do you merge those two things together if it's even possible? I don't know, man. I don't have the answer on this. It's just more like it's really interesting.
Well, and this seems like a very strange transition, but you were talking about like those like Mindhunter, for example, and you're talking to prolific serial killers, and they're like, that's my thing. That's the thing I like, and I don't know why, right? Like killing people, however you do. Like but that's a thing, right? That's in their mind. Like in other people's mind, that's like the guitar or something. But but it's still like something that's like a burning desire in you for whatever reason.
Totally.
Right. That some people have to follow. Some people can suppress. But I think about like let's say like the 27 Club, right? Or like
I don't know what's that.
Like people die, like famous people dying, or at 27 years, like Cobain and Hendrix and all of those folks, right? There's a host of them around that age range. But like imagine if you're at that level and have the world at your feet and you still can't get enough. You still can't get fulfilled and then you eventually do some drug too much or whatever it is that takes you out, or you just can't handle life or whatever. And I'm like, now imagine you don't have that like world class talent. And there's people out there that have that and have like terrible lives already, and then struggle with that like innate depression, anxiety piece too. Like these people can't even make it, and they have millions and millions of dollars, and everybody loves them.
Right.
Where like, oh my god, like that's wild to think about.
Right. It again, it changes the target of like what are we going for here? Like what you need to be. I don't want that,
because that's one thing. Like say back to the professional basketball player example. Like all those people that aren't like don't get the credit that they deserve or whatever, but they're still making quite a bit of money and influencing lives and all that. Like then great, live in that world. Like that, like you're doing well, middle ground. You're not rocking the boat, but that's where you should be, right? That's a beautiful,
massive success
place to live. But so many people are like, no, now I got to do more. Now I got to do more, and they get to a point of like, what have I done? Like those are all my best years. And I couldn't, again, when I was in it, I couldn't enjoy it.
Right.
Where I just wanted more and more and more. And it was like, why ruin a good thing?
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's, if you really want to measure success, it's got to be nothing to do with how high in the ladder you climbed. Yeah. It's got to be
it's on money. That's the unfortunate part is like, that's what everybody's end goal is, or fame, which usually go hand in hand.
Right. It's got to be how comfortable are you with what you've got? It's really it. Like how good are you with where you're at and who you are? The more you have equanimity, like just inner calmness, that's it. Like that is yeah, I agree. Well, so along those lines, I'm going to bring it back to Mr. Rogers possibly one last time. Mm-hmm. There might be another one that I'm forgetting, but there's one more thing that I love so much that was great. So he's on. There's an interview with him on Charlie Rose, right? And he's talking to Charlie Rose, and they both have the different cadence, right? Anybody that he talks to, so anyone that he talks to starts to like adopt his cadence.
Yeah.
And what it did was I recommend watching it. I didn't cue it up, but I recommend watching it because within like 10 seconds of the interview, Charlie Rose goes from who he is, this like hard-hitting interviewer, blah, 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 till he looks like a little boy. Mm-hmm. He laughs and it's like one of the things that he talks about, Mr. Rogers was talking about, was like how I'm so concerned that our culture and what we do as broadcasters is so focused on more and more and more noise. It's just noise and noise and noise. As fast as you talk fast and noise. He's like, where is the silence? Like, where is the pause? He's like, that's where you can actually think and you can like work through things and have ideas and stuff. And just by like putting the pause and talking back to him, it made Charlie Rose, it was so crazy. It was almost magical, man. It's like you talk about like the sci-fi things where there's like a magician or a wizard that like can like cast a spell and make somebody like completely change their mindset. Mm-hmm. He did it within like 10 seconds of like, okay, you're shifted back to like, you're just a kid. Like I'm here with you and you're just a kid, and like stop putting on this act. It's like you don't need to.
Yeah.
But I do think the idea of even talking with you on this, like, and as natural as it is and everything, there's always, if things are slowing down or I can't think of something to say, or to take a second to like gather your thoughts, feels like, oh, this is a problem. Like you're failing, you know, when in reality, it's like, what is the problem, man? Why are we so concerned with like not taking a second? It's interesting how it all is and how like fast paced everything has to be always.
Yeah, I think when people are worried that they find out too much about themselves or their situation when they were to do that, so it's like, okay, the kids are doing this and you're going to do that and I'm going to do this, and you never really connect, right? Right. And I think with people, whether that be a relationship or a friendship or a parent, whenever I try hard, but when it's just me and someone else, it's like it's just me and you.
Right.
Everything else is noise. Everything else, nothing else matters in this moment, right now. Otherwise, you're going to be distant from that person thinking about, oh my God, this deadline at work, or oh, I have to pick up my kid tonight to do this, or I'm going to see this I don't want to do, or whatever. I might run into this person I don't want to. It just fills your mind, and it's like none of it is probably true even,
right?
Or worth worrying about. But then in that moment, if you can connect with that person, whoever it is, that's where everything lies, right? And then you take the fulfillment from that, and then it gets you through all the other shit, right? All the stuff you don't want to do or worried about or whatever, because you're like, oh, at least I'm able to do this when I can,
right?
Or have the ability to do it or whatever,
right? No, I agree, man. I there's that piece of it, and then it feels like that there's also the piece of it that it's like, I think it's I'm spitballing this on the top of my head right now, but I think it's like there's the imposter syndrome that comes into play as well, and this could be at work or anything, where it's like, the moment I stumble and I don't say the right word or I don't have the answer, you found out that I'm an idiot and I'm a monkey and I don't know what I'm talking about.
Oh, for sure.
And there's so many like nefarious things that we're all like seeded with. Like that's a perfect one of just that. Mm-hmm. I'm an imposter. Everybody else knows what they're doing. Mm-hmm. I don't want to show my colors of this or that, or my drive is getting to the money and I can't show my failure. Whatever, all these things that are like, man, they're brutal that way. But it's like the truth of the matter is like it and along the lines of Mr. Rogers, but then specifically what we're talking about, that it's like, if I take a second to think of what I'm trying to say, or even if I backtrack and I'm like, with like the Michael Jordan thing, like I'm an idiot. I didn't know that. That's fine. To admit your failure, to be able to like consciously just be like, oh, I didn't know that, or I need a second to think about
humility, right? It's such a huge characteristic plus advantage, I think.
Advantage, and it I feel like it's also connects everybody, because everybody feels that way on some level, and it's like, oh, okay, it's okay to just be like, I don't know.
I don't think there's anything this country needs more right now than humility. Of like,
totally.
Yeah, you were right. Or if I would have made a decision or backed someone or whatever, and then they would have like, failed me in my mind, I'd be like, yeah, it's true. Like I thought it would go differently. Like I truly believe that's the route I would go, rather than just like blindly debating someone to like the death on whatever it is, knowing, like you're right, in the back of your mind that you're like, oh, I don't know if I really believe this anymore, but I'm not gonna let this person know that. It's like, why? Like, oh my God.
Right.
Who cares?
Connecting your belief to your person as opposed to just like, it's just a belief. It's just an idea. It can change anytime. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's really tough, man. I mean, me and my wife just had we got in, the knot started to tie of this idea and we had to like untangle it. And it was exactly that, where it's like taking a second to be like, okay, I'm not thinking about this right. You got to like really detach from how you think, and then open yourself up to like the possibility of being wrong, the possibility of
and then think about
whatever.
That with the very first thing you talked about with the AI creature thing. Like you wouldn't get that with them, right? You would never grow. It would always be what's your mind, what
fed
you
back
want,
to you.
what you think. Yeah, just regurgitated back to you, and you would never get to a point of like, oh yeah, like someone else's perspective. Like, I need help here with this or that. That thing couldn't ever do that.
Right.
Or like a person can that knows you.
Right. It takes uncomfortability and to really push you to be like, oh, yeah, tough, man. I have other topics, but I feel like we should just cut it right here.
I think I should save it for next time. That was good,
dude. Dig it. All right, everybody. Wait, let me just throw in some music to end
Phase it out,
so I don't have to do it. I don't have to do it in post. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. And again, if you have any topics for us, questions, or just even want to jump on a FaceTime with us during a taping, we'd love it. But either way, we appreciate you. I want to save this so I don't forget. We got to talk about Tropic Thunder next time. I have that was the last piece of the puzzle. That was
interesting.
Anyway, so that's it. We'll see you guys next time, I guess.